According to founder of Transparency International, Peter Eigen, he said, and I quote, "People should be conscious that they can change a corrupt system. Yes, we can, if each and every one of us play their part in seeing corruption brought to its barest minimum. It is achievable. The fight against corruption is for us all. Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption." Hello and thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Muhammad. Compliments of the season to all our viewers.
Good day, Nigerians. As we all know, cybercrime is progressing at an incredibly fast pace. It is giving a bad image to Nigeria, affecting our economy and draining the youth of this country. Let us work collectively against cybercrime wherever it is committed. I am Abdurrashid Bawa, Executive Chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Stand for the right thing always. Thank you.
Your right, your role. Say no to corruption. That's the theme for the 2021 International Anti-Corruption Day. Corruption affects all areas of the society. Preventing corruption unlocks progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, helps protect our planet, creates jobs, achieves gender equality, and secures wider access to essential services such as healthcare and education. While it is everyone's right to benefit from strong anti-corruption efforts, misconduct and wrongdoing is stealing away valuable resources at a time when they are most needed to respond to and recover from the COVID-19 crisis. The 2021 International Anti-Corruption Day seeks to highlight the rights and responsibilities of everyone, including states, government officials, civil servants, law enforcement officers, media representatives, the private sector, civil society, academia, the public, and youth in tackling corruption. To achieve these policies, systems and measures need to be in place for people to be able to speak up and say no to corruption. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption emphasizes the responsibility of government to put in place effective whistleblower protection to ensure that persons who speak up are protected from retaliation. These measures contribute to effective accountability and transparency to institutions towards a culture of integrity and fairness. In Nigeria, Interagency Tax Team IATT, in collaboration with anti-corruption agencies, had a one-day program to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day. Ojochokutami Eche was in attendance and now reports on this and another report.
The Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, has called on Nigerians to take ownership of the fight against corruption. He gave the charge in a message to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day at an event organized by the Interagency Task Team, IATT, in Abuja. The EFCC chairman, who was represented by the Secretary to the Commission, George Ekpungu, said Nigerians must see the fight against corruption as their own battle. He stressed the need for all citizenry to be prepared to give full expression to the powers of the office of the citizen by not only holding our leaders accountable, but ensuring that everyone fulfills obligations in line with the law. He stated that the theme of this year's event, Your Role, Your Rights, Say No to Corruption, fits well into the vision of active citizens' involvement in the fight against corruption.
In Nigeria, despite our best efforts, and that is all of us, corruption remains a huge challenge undermining national development efforts. However, I'm confident that the deliberations here today will provide fresh impetus for our commitment to rescue Nigeria from the stronghold of economic and financial crimes. The theme of this year's event, Your Role, Your Right, Say No to Corruption, fits well into the vision of active citizens' involvement in the fight against corruption. As citizens, we cannot afford to be complacent in matters of accountability and transparency, especially as they relate to the management of our common patrimony.
He added that the EFCC was optimistic that with improved public trust through adherence to rule of law and best practices in investigation, the space for more inclusive participation will widen to defeat the monster called corruption. Speaking earlier, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, who participated virtually, said Nigeria has recorded tremendous success in the fight against corruption. He specifically lauded the EFCC for its contributions to the fight against corruption in Nigeria, stating that in 2015, Nigeria recorded 104 convictions, but today the EFCC alone has so far recorded 1,400 convictions in 2021.
From 103 convictions around 2015. On account of the deployment of the anti-corruption strategies, we have succeeded, particularly when the agency of government, the EFCC, in, at the end of the day, prosecuting around 1,400, securing around 1,400 convictions as at 2021.
The country representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, Oliver Stolpe, who spoke on behalf of the UN system, noted that Nigeria has created a formidable legal and institutional anti-corruption framework and operational capabilities which are the envy of many nations. He said arrest, prosecution, and convictions of the corrupt have become a daily occurrence at the international and regional level. Nigeria remains a leader and strong advocate for a more robust international anti-corruption framework and mechanism, allowing for investigation and trial for transnational cases of corruption, recovery and return of proceeds of crime.
And since then, despite all the challenges and the setbacks sometimes along the way, we have come a long way. And also in Nigeria, we have come a long way. You have created a formidable legal and institutional anti-corruption framework and operational capabilities which are the envy of many nations within and beyond the African continent. Arrests, prosecutions, convictions of the corrupt have become a daily occurrence. At the international and regional level, Nigeria remains a leader and strong advocate for a more robust international anti-corruption framework and mechanisms.
In his welcome address, Chairman, Interagency Task Team, Barrister Olusegun Adekunle, said corruption prevents the attainment of the social development goals and gives room for crime and criminality to thrive. According to him, to make significant progress, corruption must be reduced to the barest minimum. More goodwill messages were presented by heads of anti-corruption agencies, all stressing the urgency of the need to deepen the fight against corruption in Nigeria. The highlight of the event was a panel discussion on beneficial ownership disclosure, a tool for fighting corruption, recovery of assets, preventing illicit financial flows and terrorism financing, which featured representatives from the EFCC, PCC, ICPC, and CISLAC, among others. Ojo Chokutami Eche, reporting for The Eagle. The chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Abdul Rashid Bawa, was among the heads of Nigerian anti-corruption agencies attending the 9th Conference of the States Parties, COSP, to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC. The delegation was led by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, SAN. The EFCC boss was a panelist at a high-level side event on cross-border cooperation to end corruption by Global Operational Network of Anti-Corruption Law Enforcement Authorities, Globe Network, while Ms. Gada Wali, the Executive Director of the UNODC, delivered the opening address. Bawa advocated for trust among cooperating institutions as an effective tool to enhance collaborations. He called on members of the Globe Network to explore informal, proactive and spontaneous intelligence and information sharing in the fight against corruption. The other panelists included the President of Saudi Arabia's Oversight and Anti-Corruption Authority, Mr. Mazim Ibrahim M. Al-Kamos, Contralor General de la República, Chile, Mr. Yohei Bermudez, Vice President, Institutional Integrity, World Bank, Mr. Mohamedou Dane, and the Attorney General, Mozambique, Ms. Beatriz Swain. The session was moderated by Ms. Manuela Popescu, Deputy Director General of the Anti-Corruption General Directorate, Romania. Globe Network is a platform for peer-to-peer information exchange and informal cooperation to better identify, investigate, and prosecute cross-border corruption offenses and recover stolen assets. The event was designed, amongst others, to facilitate reconnecting members to the Secure Collaborative Platform, SCP, enhancing certification to access the platform, updating focal points, and discussing challenges and the practical usage of SCP. Ojo Kutami Eche, reporting for The Eagle.
The Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, has called on women in the country to stand up for what is right and support the fight against corruption. Bawa gave the charge at the workshop on gender dimension of anti-corruption in Nigeria, jointly organized by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, United Nations Entity for Gender Equality, the Empowerment of Women and Technical Unit in Governance and Anti-Corruption Reforms, which held at the Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. Abbas Abubakar Umar tells us more.
Bawa, who was represented by his Chief of Staff Hadiza Gamawa Zubairu, says bringing the relevant tools and encouraging women at various levels to acquire the skills, knowledge and the resources to contribute their quota in nation building will complement efforts in the fight against corruption. He stressed the need for a more collaborative system for women to foster and for the society to thrive and be free of economic and financial crimes, as corruption is neither masculine nor feminine but a product of an opportunity.
We therefore appreciate our focus partners, reaffirm commitment in efforts against graft in Nigeria. The EFCC calls for increased participation of all Nigerians. This honors us.
Also speaking, Mariam Uwais, who represented the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, noted that corruption constitutes serious threats to good governance, rule of law, insecurity and development. She said funds that could have been invested in poverty alleviation and the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals are diverted by a greedy and selfish minority.
It is preaching to the converted in this audience for me to even speak about how corruption, as a hydra-headed monster, has undermined the very fabric of our society. Corruption continues to constitute a serious threat to good governance, rule of law, peace and security, and in particular developmental programs aimed at tackling poverty and socioeconomic vulnerabilities. Funds that could have been invested in and utilized to reduce poverty and facilitate the attainment of the SDGs by addressing our poor human capital indices are diverted to serve the vested interests of a greedy and selfish minority. To compound matters, corruption deprives access to basic services sorely needed in a country like ours.
Speaking earlier in a presentation entitled Gender and Corruption in Nigeria, the country representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, Dr. Oliver Stolp, said though it has been argued that women are less likely to be involved in bribery than men, the debate on whether policies that promote gender equality in positions of power can effectively reduce corrupt practices has gained momentum in recent years. The event featured a panel session on corruption prevention and good governance with Executive Secretary, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption (PACAG), Professor Sadiq Isa Ratta, Chief of Staff to the EFCC Chairman Hadiza Zubairu Gamawa, who was represented by Enakeno Oju, board member of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Offences Commission (ICPC), Hannatu Muhammad, founder Integrity Organization Limited, Soji Apampa, among others. Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I said na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, but we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, but we kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh, women from every sector, make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call, we no see. I said na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Niger, now we all know.
We all need to support this cause of seeing an end to corruption and economic and financial crimes. All hands must be on deck. The fight is not for the anti-corruption agencies alone. Play your part so we have a better place for everyone, especially the youth, who are the leaders of today and tomorrow.
Moki onile, moki àlejò, pàápàá jùlọ gbogbo ọmọ Odùduwà káàárọ̀ oòjíire. Nílé lóko, lálejò àti lẹ́yìn odi. Pé ẹ kú àsìkò yìí. Mo fi àsìkò yìí pé àkíyèsí wa sí ìwà jẹgúdújẹrá tí a mọ̀ sí corruption ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì. Pé ó lòdì sí òfin orílẹ̀-èdè àti ìtẹ̀síwájú orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà. Igi kan kò lè dágbó ṣe. Ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ wa ló lè tan ìmọ́lẹ̀ sí ìwà jẹgúdújẹrá ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa.
Domin samun ingantacciyar ilimi, hanyoyi masu kyau da nagartacciyar asibiti, mu haɗa hannu da ƙarfe, mu yaƙi cin hanci da rashawa da yi wa tattalin arzikin ƙasa zagon ƙasa.
Igbo kwano, rieno, nwono, ekele mono, ndu mmiri ndu azụ, ekelecha mụ ma jụọ ajụjụ. Uwe oke iri ahụhụ ole mgboji agwụ ewo. Uwe oke iri ọnụma ole mgboji agwụ ewo. Ọkwanụ mmadụ ka na-arịa. Onye ahụ enyere ego ya ga-arụọ ụlọ, ya rụọ ụlọ mkpuke. Ọkwanụ ahụ ka anyị na-arịa. Onye enyere ego ya rụọ ụzọ, ya rụọ ụzọ ebe ndagburugwu nke onyinye ọnwụ. Onye ahụ ka anyị na-arịa ugbu a. Ọ bụ ya ka a kpọrọ mpụ na aghụghọ. A na-akpọ ya corruption n'aha bekee. Gịnịkwanụ ji anyị ugbu a? Ọ mmadụ fọmfoju akpa na oke ego a na-achọ n'akpa. Onye nwa ji anyị ugbu a. Anyị na-asị kwụsịnụ mpụ na aghụghọ tụmadụ nke gbasara ego. Mụnwa ekpebiela m na onweghị ihe jikọrọ mụ na mpụ na aghụghọ n'obodo a. Mụ na ya enweghị ihe jikọrọ mụ na ya.
Udu ki biene abiko ke moko ki machoko en ke mujin uro kola miedo kakini uje bai enwe bienen ololo shoko eji
biedo nuzomo biedo nahire awe medan igbono kan na rioba ke bige kina dubebo oruse noze mana mi alawo dawo owebe owisi negbe ya upo na la eyari yeyeke igbama òpè àkókò náà láhàn.
Àìní ẹ̀nà láìní ẹ̀nà yìí lọ àìyá là o ìjọ lé wàjẹ́ ká lọ yẹn kú bíà ẹ́ ó lọ lẹ́wà tálà lọ kó gbọ́ tó yọlẹ̀ lálọ́gẹ́ abálọ́gá ayẹlẹ̀ nálọ́gá ayẹlà ká lọ yẹn alẹ́ àmì.
Urobo wà dó Isoko wà dó Udu wà dó Ugele wà dó mẹ́mọ́ mọ́ wọn. Mingmuta obo ngo no bo wa otana mingmore na onye ese bo yibo ni corruption and corruption ora ina yo ma bedi bede o yo ma dim corruption in Igo government can move for one. Going a can go now. War or offer. Igo was supposed to get it. Be school come on my worry.
So to your Tifchi. Aka yanganim zeheme utawasi ka anye kwachu manafelele shakwonya. Uhembaya kamba uinjai don henegumeyo kase manon sopa. Aka nechi nayo igbenda ayochi imiakanta manaka vana mzeheme ban hitawasi. Simba kanse defe mananza abune. Ngise ifase na handa.
Ukanyen ekomdo mfun nyini mi da ida ite ya nyini wane kon iba corruption ya nyini yene etiu son etiu fonwe etiu upempo nyini na kpukuru nyini na ida I wane kon iba corruption afodagada kpukuru Nigerians ida e wane kon corruption
dani brama konin tangwa onin aye tina huboro oisiete atebulu ozo eme ozo ma hitiniri yuyi ye manyoboto
bandiraɓe am fulɓe heɗitotoɓe taskaram ka ko larani haala mosle ceede malla jawle ɗum yolli en ha nder ɓillaji ko ɗuuɗi ko larani haala soyde hiite lantarki soyde laabi soyde jangille soyde asibitiji malla ñawdolle ko hani gaɗen bandiraɓe fulɓe kawten hoore ngam bo yigo en koni haala mosle ceede.
My people, una well done. How na dey? I gave a story for now. This story, it dey worry me, it dey worry you. Now the nyama, the wuru, the magu, what they call corruption, where they kill us for this country. Because of corruption, we no get better road. Because of corruption, our hospital don't pafuka. Because of corruption, our light now 0/100. That's now why I say make we come together, make we fight this nyama, wuru, magu, what they call corruption.
Economic and financial crimes constitute a major impediment to the economic growth and development of our dear country, Nigeria. Its devastating effect is evident on our bad roads, dilapidated hospitals, poor educational infrastructures, just to mention but a few. But if only we can come together, we will be able to defeat this common enemy.
Uro kolamiedo, kakin na jek baenwe bienedun, ololo chedu kinoche bojeji.
Mera do bere yo inu waise. Oi do la man atoi mozare.
Aloko hai memla e gomina kaje kalonya kaloko nunu to da dudu le pẹ̀lú ji memle li jole kaje nya no chela no liola gbo no chela no le bole olema oya kaje nya ko le je gokula lo ko le ko le hai lo ko yo kai ko la lo ko chi ko le lo anya la o.
Bana goyon bayan cin hanci da rashawa da yi wa tattalin arziki zagon ƙasa.
Gyati ma ba usunoka we maririo boye ogbeu keve awe medan.
Moyo mvendachu ma fie shakwonya.
Ana ma kwụsị ike na ọgụ a na-alụ megide mpụ na aghụghọ tụmadụ nke gbasara ego n'obodo anyị bụ Naịjirịa.
Mo dúró lòdì sí ìwà jẹgúdújẹrá.
Kó mẹ́mẹ́, bí mọ́mẹ́, báyé mẹ́. Àwọn arìtánẹ́, corruption nana. Pẹ̀dípẹ̀dẹ̀, àwọn kan wà bọ̀ ìbúrọ̀ yìí. Fìkídí èmù, àwọn arìgbọ̀n náà tọ́ wúròbó nana. Ọmọ kò bá rò. Isi agwari, mingo.
Emi holla ngayingu dow ko larani aybeji ceede malla jawle.
Ami madanda ndi wane kong ban wibi no uboy dem ifonke.
That's now why me I tanda gidigba to fight any wuru, mago, nyama where they happen for this Obodo Naija.
Today, I have resolved that I will stand against economic and financial crimes.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Investing your resources today for a better tomorrow is what everyone prays for. But as you do, the EFCC wants to sound this note of caution. Be careful whom you give your money to invest for you. This is a scam alert. Scammers are on the loose in every part of the country in these hard times. Every day, men and women are defrauded by those they trust, who use all forms of devious means in the name of investment platforms. Be careful what type of investment scheme you subscribe to. And if you have fallen into the hands of any investment scammer or suspect anyone of involving in investment scam, please report to the EFCC immediately. And that's how we end today's episode of The Eagle. Do not forget, for matters relating to economic and financial crimes, please send a mail to info@efcc.gov.ng. And to speak to our officers or representatives, you can call 0809 3322 644 and follow us on all our social media platforms at official EFCC. If you see fraud happening, use the EFCC mobile app, The Eagle Eye. Download the app, follow the steps, and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. My name is Aisha Muhammad. I leave you with these parting words. Make living your life with absolute integrity and kindness your first priority. Please do the right thing always. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please stay safe and be kind to one another. And happy holidays, everyone.